So today I'm going to talk to you about 5 things that you need to get you through winter running. These are the things that I kind of found very helpful or useful for me. I'm not particularly going to talk about clothing because I find that's very personal to the individual. Some people like to run in shorts throughout winter. Some people prefer to have more layers and be more covered. So I'm not going to talk about clothing because I generally feel the cold a lot more, I find. Some people don't feel the cold as much as I do. So I just need to be layered up and covered as much as I can, even when I'm running. So let's move on to the first thing that I would recommend during winter running. I usually hate darkness. I feel like at the moment it's a real struggle because when I get up for work it's dark, when I finish work it's dark, and I just feel like it's always dark. So for me, the one thing that I really need when I run during winter is a head torch, and this is the one from Evergreen. You can get this off Amazon for quite cheaply. I'll leave a link down below if you're interested in seeing this one that I've got. I've had this one for quite some time, probably since the beginning of this year, when it was quite dark in the mornings in January and February when I was running. So a head torch really helps with my winter runs. At the moment I've been using it again because it's December and it's dark all the time when I go for a run. This one has different settings, so you have a brighter setting, kind of a slightly dimmer version, and then you can have flashing. I usually just have it on the brightest setting because I want to see as much as I can, and you can kind of tilt this one as well, so you can kind of tilt it to face further down or kind of higher up and see ahead of you. So there's a lot of settings and it's adjustable. It's quite comfortable to wear. I find that I have to wear it quite high up on my head, so almost like facing upwards, and then tilt it as far down as I can, because if I have it just on my forehead with run, even when I have it really tight, it slowly starts sliding down my head. So I feel like I have to have it quite high up so it doesn't kind of slide down. But this is what I recommend for winter running. It definitely makes a big difference to see where you're stepping in the dark, and also to be seen by other people like walkers and drivers. And yeah, I just find it's an essential for winter running. The next thing I would highly recommend for winter running is some gloves. They don't necessarily have to be actual running gloves. I feel like any gloves that covers your hands would be good. My hands get quite cold in the winter. I guess a lot of people probably feel the same. I usually have some gloves to start off with, but my hands do get quite warm when I start running, so then I end up taking them off. So these ones are quite good because it has a little clip, so you can just then take them off and then clip them together, and then kind of put it on your belt, or kind of it's harder to lose when they're clipped together, so I find these ones are really good. I do have another pair that I also wear. They're both very thin. It's just something to cover your skin up when it is really cold, and sometimes when it is below zero, it is really cold and painful to kind of run with bare skin. So I find gloves is a must for winter running. It just makes it more comfortable to run in. The third thing I would really recommend is some sort of neck warmer, neck tube, scarf, or anything that will kind of keep your neck warm. I feel like when it's cold, especially when it's windy, a lot of the cold air goes into kind of my neck area and into my clothes. I feel like having that bit covered makes a big difference running in the winter. I have quite a few and I love having different ones and having colorful ones as well. I have a Sonic the Hedgehog one. I have one from Harrier, which I got free when I got my hydration vest. I have a 44 teeth one. That was when I use when I ride my motorbike, but I do use this for running as well. And this one that I got from the trail events when I did the trail 15k this year. So I love that. Just love having different colors. It's just quite fun, and they're very thin, easy to wash, and if you get too warm you can just take them off and you can wrap it around your wrist like some people do. You can always use it as a head scarf, just when your forehead's a bit cold, or sometimes when I use my head torch and it's a little bit uncomfortable on my forehead. I find these are very helpful if you just put that and over kind of your forehead and then put the head torch on. There's so many ways to use these, and I find them very handy, and I would definitely recommend for winter running. The fourth thing I'd recommend is to be seen by other people when you run in the dark. When I used to go out for a run, I never realized how little you can see in the dark. A lot of my clothes are black as well, which doesn't help, and most of them aren't reflective. Even when I wear kind of bright red or coloured clothing, when I go in the dark, you just can't see. I remember seeing a lady walking her dog in the mornings. She was wearing a yellow coat, so normally yellow stands out quite a lot and can be quite bright, but in the dark you just can't see her. You can kind of see like a faint color moving, but the only reason I've noticed her is because she has a light on her dog. So the dog has like a lit up collar. That's the only reason I kind of saw her the first time, and then I've noticed, oh, there's a lady wearing a yellow coat. But even with a bright color, you can't actually see when it's in the dark. So for me, it's very important to be seen. So I purchased these, I don't even know what they're called, but these are almost like when you were kids. I don't know if you had them. You kind of had these, whatever they're called, and then you would like snap them on. So I just got these very cheaply again. I think I got these from eBay when I started running in the dark and I just wanted to be seen. So I got these just to put around my wrist when I go out. It's just to be seen a little bit more, together with my head torch. I think that's really good. And recently, I think it was a few weeks ago, I bought a gilet, which is a high-vis gilet. So this is normally just grey, but in the dark, and when you shine a light onto it, it's actually very reflective, really reflective. So all these grey areas, the whole thing, it's just really bright. When I'm wearing this when I'm running and I wear a head torch and I look down on myself, I can see how bright this actually reflects the light. This is a really good purchase. This is also another really great layer for winter when it's cold. It's very breathable because the back has these kind of gaps that go through here, and it's made of kind of mesh material on the inside. Yeah, the whole thing has just been a great purchase. It was kind of on offer as well. It was, I think, like £13 or something. So for that price, and to be seen in the dark, plus another extra layer, and it has 3 zip pockets. So it has 2 on each side at the front, and also a bigger zip pocket on the back, so you can put stuff in it. It's just, I can't complain about it. I can't complain. It's just really good purchase. And again, it's mostly to be seen in the dark, and I think it's really important to just be safe. So yeah, this has been my recent purchase, and I've been loving it during my dark, cold runs. So the last thing I think you need to get you through winter running is not necessarily an item or a thing or an object. It's actually your mindset. For me, I hate the dark, I hate the cold. I really struggle during the winter months, and I do find myself find it really hard getting out, and my mood kind of is always on the lower side when it's winter. I just struggle with the dark and coldness. So for me, shifting my mindset to go out running when it is really cold and dark has been the one thing that has kept me going through running this year and throughout last winter and this current winter. So for me, probably the most important thing to get you through winter running is your mindset. You just have to mentally be strong enough to go out and tell yourself it's not actually that bad, and once you get running, once you get moving, everything is not as bad as you think. And that's definitely been the case for me. And I also find the more I do it, the easier it gets, because you do realize when you first step out the door, it's freezing cold and everything hurts, and you just think, why am I doing this? Why I should have just stayed in bed. But once you get running, you actually realize, oh, you do warm up, so it's not that cold. And when you come back from a run into the warmth and have a shower, it just feels really nice having been out on a run. And for me to be able to run through winter and keep going out and doing those runs is what keeps me mentally sane in a way, and I feel like I really need it. So I have to remind myself not to let the cold and the darkness stop me from doing something that I really love and really enjoy. Because without running, I feel like I'll be in a lot worse place, struggling through the winter months. So being able to push myself and be strong enough to go out for those runs time and time again really helps. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things to keep you running throughout the winter months. So those were the 5 things that I would recommend for winter running. I hope some of them have been helpful. I know there are probably some obvious things in there, to cover up and layer up and have certain things to keep you going, but I just thought I'll just share with you the things that kind of worked for me, and most importantly, the 5th point that I mentioned. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. If you enjoyed the video at all, or at any point you found anything useful, please give this video a like. That would be very helpful. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.